Sorry about that. My video seemed to be looked like it was a little bit too short, but my battery died. So I'm just making another video to talk about what I was pretty much talking about. And yeah, I was pretty much talking about this movie. It's called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. It's a movie about this village in Malawi, a Malawian village that was on the verge of famine because of climate change and all that. And pretty much it got to a point where people were fighting for food. Crops weren't coming. There's hardly any water. There was corruption, and people were leaving the area to go to nearby villages to see if they can at least establish a life there for themselves, because there was nothing that was available in the area that they lived. And this is what happens. And I'm telling you that it is definitely a movie that you should watch. Again, I'll repeat it. It's called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind by William. It's a story about this 13-year-old named William Kamkwamb. You should check it out. And the reason why I'm talking about this particular movie is because it has all the themes that's present today in my island, same as in the Grenadines. There's some neighbor string cut. There's some me come from. Me not no foreigner. Me leave, but there's still my place. So let's get down to it. So this story pretty much, it's about this village depending on the ingenuity of this young man, this 13-year-old boy. And it really showcases the importance. It really showcases the importance of education, of how important it is to be educated, whether formally in an institution or you educate yourself. But it just shows you how important it is to be able to think critically. And this is something else that I also want to address. Now, do not underestimate the power of critical thinking. There are a lot of texts out there that you can read to educate yourself about critical thinking. And let me tell you, it is an awakening. It allows you to see when your leaders will be telling you lies. It allows you to see those lies. It allows you to challenge them. It allows you to debate. It teaches you how to have like actual arguments, not back and forth with each other. And it just, you need to realize that critical thinking is very important. So I don't know I just want to make sure that this is something that, I don't know if it's in the curriculum yet, but I think this is something that should definitely be in the curriculum. The ability to think critically. And if it doesn't make it in the curriculum, then it just goes to show that maybe the leaders don't want people to think critically. And therein lies a problem. Now you have those who are educated leaving the country because they can't find opportunities. They're not leaving the country because they hate the island, or it's not a disrespect on the island or anything like that. They're leaving because they're looking for opportunities elsewhere. And guess what? NDP folks leave, UOP folks leave, Green Party folks leave, and that new party that they just formed the other day and the one that they formed a couple years ago, people from that party leave. People leave all the time in search of opportunities. That's what humans been doing since we ever came on the face of this planet. We leave somewhere when the resources are scarce and go to somewhere where there's resources that can help guarantee your life, guarantee your offspring, make sure that your offspring is healthy, and make sure you carry on your genes. That's what humans have been doing for years. We look for opportunities. And if none is on the island, then Vincentians will leave. Now, there's no need to get nasty. There's no need to say that they have no business in your affairs because they are also Vincentians too. They're just giving you their honest opinion. They're thinking. Some of them are thinking critically about the ideas. They're seeing it from, they're seeing it. They're getting. Some have family, some have friends, some get people get the information. It's not that hard to get information about Simmons of what's going on down there. It's a small island. Now, it brings me to back to the story. Now, this young man is talking to his father. His father is tilling the land. The land's dry. There's no signs of rain. And he's so upset. He's just tilling the land. He doesn't even know what he's doing. He even tried to pray. And his wife was like, yeah, you need to actually start doing actual work. You can't leave everything in God's hands. And that's another mentality that we need to get rid of. Stop putting everything in God's hands. We have to take responsibility for our own lives. We just can't put it up on God and say, God, we see us through, or whatever it is, because let me tell you right now, there is a drought that's coming. I'm not talking about the one that happened a couple months ago in St. Vincent, which is a result of climate change. That is another story for another time, like I said in my last video. But you might not be affected by the COVID like on a large scale like here in terms of health wise, but economic wise, there's a drought coming. And this is where we need leaders who will actually start listening to his people. Leaders who you need to stop ignoring the people. I've heard voices from both camps, from both sides of the fence, who has expressed like being concerned that their representatives never come to check on them. They don't do any checks. They don't know how they're doing. All that happens is whenever election time comes around, they just suddenly pop up out of nowhere and come like, "Hey, I need your vote today." But I'm hearing voices now. I'm seeing people talking. People are sharing stories, and they're fed up. They're actually fed up, and they've actually said that if nothing changes, then they will stop voting. Now, we are looking for leaders who, we're tired. Vincentians are quite kind of getting tired of this big talk. We don't have time for big talk. We don't have time for, I'm going to create 10,000 jobs. I'm going to do this. I'm going to part the Red Sea. We want to know how. How are you going to do it? We want to know the how. And Vincentians need to start asking how. There are people who ask how, but they get called so and so forth, political activists, and they never really have a voice. And people tend to ridicule them. And these are the kind of voices that you need. These are the kind of people that would tell you about what's going on wrong in the country. These are the guys who can actually do a checkup, give St. Vincent and the Grenadines a health checkup. And the way they're talking right now, it doesn't seem that great. So we want leaders who can listen. We want leaders who, in the face of the enemy, if they say, are you willing to die for your country? Leaders who will say yes without hesitation. We want leaders who create environments where people can prosper. We want leaders to tell us how are we going to weather this famine that's coming up. We want to know the how. We want an address. We want you guys to address the nation and tell us how we're going to do this. Because we really need to know how. We can't deal with false promises anymore. I think Vincentians have reached the end of the line and they deserve better than this. They're asking for better and they need better. Now, leaders, during when this famine comes, are you going to be the one who can harness the wind? and bring water, water the soil, and make bring bring about growth, bring about prosperity, bring the island, let the island rise again, like this bigger bigs, the phoenix. This is a man who's been, his business has been, the amount of times, I can't even tell the amount of times he's been victimized, but yet he still, every time they come after his business, he builds another one. You need to get advice from people like that. You need to like get the information that's in their head. Those are the kind of people that you should be close to, and those are the kind of people that you need to be listening to in order to get advice from. Now, I spoke about it in my other video, which I deleted because it ended too abruptly because my battery died. This other gentleman I'm talking about, his name is Ken Thomas. Now, he's doing engineering, I believe civil engineering. I'm open to correction. And he voices he voices concerns about soil erosion, about whether or not the island has proper defenses for when floods happen, how the island can weather storms. And this pretty much, when he gives his 2 cents, nobody really pays attention to him. So are you going to create a country that would encourage people like this to come back to the island? Because we need them. We need critical thinkers. We need engineers. We need doctors. We need lawyers. We need farmers. We need pilots. We need fishermen. We need all the different professions. No matter what the profession is, we need all those folks to be able to prosper in the island and to be able to bring the island up, to build the nation up. You can't build a nation if the people are broken. You can't lift the people higher if they're broken. They're broken mentally. They're broken physically. So this is a call out to the leaders of the country to address the nation, to show unity, to get rid of those party lines, to pretty much do away with colonialism. It's time enough now. It's time enough for us to detach ourselves from colonialism. It's time enough for us to start embracing our own tradition, our own cultures. It's time for Vincentians to have an awakening. It's time for this awakening to happen. It is time. It is time to bring people from out of the darkness. It is time, leaders. It is time that you do your jobs. It is time that you chant one Vinci. It is time. And like I said, one Vinci, always a Vinci, will die a Vinci, will go to heaven a Vinci, and I will always be a Vinci. Until then, one Vinci, one Vinci, one nation, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the best island in the Caribbean.